So a lot of you guys have been suggesting this video, asking us to explain all the different races or species in the Black Clover series. And those of you who are thinking, which one is it, Anime Balls D? Are you going to be telling us the different races or different species? Well guys, listen, technically it's race, as most of these lot are humanoid in nature and can breed with each other. However, they might fall under an entire different species. So I'm going to be using these two words very loosely. With that aside, like always, here is a quick plug for our sponsors Anime Ryo. If you lot want to pick out clothing from your favorite anime, then make sure to check them out. They recently have added a Black Clover collection along with other new products. Make sure to use the code ABD Squad to get yourself a 10% discount. The link is in the description and comment section below. With that, let's cue the intro.
You don't fuck with neck, bro.
Alright, so here's a list which I gathered of all the different humanoid species, or as some of you guys like to refer them as, different race class in the series. First, the most obvious ones are humans, then there are elves, demons, spirits and dwarves. Well, so far it seems those are the few ones that the creator Yuuki Tabata actually elaborated on, meaning there are likely more species yet to be revealed, like werewolves, vampires and giants, and so on. However, in this video I'm only going to be covering humans, elves and demons, and if this video gets over 2000 likes, then I'll make sure to follow up with the next part about dwarves and spirits. I'm going to try my best to explain these races and give a good background to each of them, so let's begin with the humans. As you guys know, humans are the most dominant race in the Black Clover world, and they occupy most of the kingdoms and lands which are mentioned. And like most fantasy stories, humans usually are the prevalent race, which might be due to the fact that it's much more easier for the audience to relate to in some ways. However, in the Black Clover universe, because of the presence of magic, humans are accustomed to utilize it in their day-to-day. It's practically a sixth sense for the humans in this universe. Other differences from humans in our world would be the setting period, as it's insinuated that the time period is more likely the medieval times. The humans also have different classes and hierarchical structures that set precedents in the governance of the human society. Like the kingdoms are ruled by a monarch, usually being a king. Then there would be royal families falling under this monarch. The human governance also has a similar defense system which was clearly inspired from our own. For example, the Order of the Magic Knights is an organization created to serve and protect the kingdom. This system and organization is similar to the knights which once served kingdoms in our world, like the Knights Templars and the Teutonic Order. They even have the Royal Knights, which again isn't a new concept. In fact, something of an effect would be the Order of Garter, which was founded in 1348. Now, as individuals, humans are said to be weaker in magic than other races like the elves. However, due to the high populace and oligarchy structure, along with being diverse and technical, humans were able to develop more advanced technologically, giving them advantage over the other races. Now, there isn't much else to say about the humans, so let's just jump into the elves. Alright, so apart from humans, elves are probably the next most spoken type of people in this series. So what do we actually know about them? Well, the elves were a tribe of ancient race who lived in the Forsaken region of the Clover Kingdom. We don't really know if there were any other elf tribe located outside of this region, but more than likely this was the only tribe according to the information we are given. In appearance, elves look very similar to humans, but they have pointy ears. Elves also has higher affinity to mana, hence they all had crazy level of magic power. Because of that, in the olden times, some would even go as far to worship the elves as gods. Their level of mana reserve was so great that the elves were able to perform many various forbidden magic spells, including the creation of a third eye and the summoning of a demon god. Along with being pretty much overpowered, elves are the only people capable of fully utilizing the magic stones. Even the anti-magic weapons that Asta possesses came from Lisht, who was the leader of the elf tribe. So as you guys can see, the elves seems to be the originator of magic in some sense. Now, within the society of the elves, even though they are depicted as gods to the humans, they themselves have a god. Yes, a singular god. And according to their history long ago, their elvish ancestors formed a pact with the humans to protect a magical space called the Kingdom of Shadows. The Kingdom of Shadows, or also known as the Shadow Palace, is a magical space that connects the realms of the living and the realms of the dead, which is often referred to as hell or the afterlife. So if you have access to this space, you can bring back the dead. This shadow palace is located in the Clover Castle of the Clover Kingdom, which would explain why the elf tribe resided specifically in the Clover Kingdom. However, amongst elves, only the followers of Sephiroth, who are basically the 10 elvish prophets who have received divine revelation from their god, are able to open this space. And just a quick note is that in the Abrahamic theology, specifically Judaism, the Sephiroth is also said to be the 10 attributes in the Kabbalah, where God would reveal himself. All in all, it seems that Yuuki Tabata wanted to depict the elves as God's chosen people and picked prophets amongst them. So what happened to these amazing creatures? Well, the jealousy and fear of man. That's what happened. Some of the humans began to fear and desire the power of the elves. So amongst the royal families, they plotted and executed a massacre of the elves, but not before using a magic tool to steal the elves' mana. Now this plan itself was actually inspired by the shaitan, the devil, but I'll explain that later. But if you ever wondered why most of the royal family members have greater mana, it's because their ancestors were thieves. Yes, and I don't want to be too deep here, but considering we are anime balls deep, I do have to comment that this ideology and nature is actually present in our own human society. The concept of racism and superiority has existed within history for a long time. Even events where land and wealth were stolen from one group of people over another, and the only thing separating them would be usually race or culture. So coming back to the point, the human goes on a killing spree right after the wedding ceremony of Lisht and Tetia. We explain more about this history in our Who is the Demon Inside Asta video, so make sure to check that out. But this massacre was like literally the ultimate betrayal. It's basically the anime version of the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones. So now, after this massacre, Lish, being OP and whatnot, didn't die, but in despair he casted the forbidden reincarnation magic, which actually ended up reviving his friend Patoli's soul centuries later into the body of William Vengeance. And in anger, Lisht also casted the demon god spell, but Tetia's brother, being the first wizard king, being pretty much OP himself, ended up killing it. And from then on, it was pretty much the end of the elf tribe. But like I mentioned earlier, centuries later, Patoli was the first one to come back. It is suggested the reason Patoli came back in the body of William Vengeance is because he was a noble, who more than likely was the descendant of the human who stole Patoli's mana. The resurrection more than likely sent the soul into the nearest, most compatible body. After Patoli's resurrection, he then started the Eye of the Midnight Sun and completed the resurrection of the other elves in human bodies, ultimately to seek revenge. Guys, if you ask me, this is some Naruto cycle of hatred shit right here. Okay, so with that, I did sum up the story of the elves, but a quick thing to add is that after this Black Clover Red Wedding event, humans coming out to be victorious wrote their own history, because as like in reality, the saying of history is written by the victors is truer than we would like to think. So the history which is taught to the children of Clover Kingdom is that the elves were actually demons who wished to control the world and all its mana, and their leader Lish turned himself into a demon god but was stopped by their savior, the first magic emperor. It's a really sad story, and even though this is a fictionist anime, the theme does resemble a lot with our reality. Now, due to the constant reference to the demon god and the demon inside Asta's grimoire, we know for sure that there is a demon-like race or species or an effect to it. And if you manga readers are up to date, then we know for sure there is also the devil. Unfortunately though, the manga translation have many variations where it refers to demons as devils interchangeably, as in other translations the devil is referred to just a demon. So before I explain this race, I need to clarify the difference between the devil and demons. In the Abrahamic teachings, there is only one devil, but there can be many demons, and the devil is seen as the king of the demons. However, in the Black Clover series, the concept of the demons isn't really clear, so we just have to go from our own knowledge of the Abrahamic teachings. In the series, the devil himself could be a very evil demon, or possibly the king of all demons. In chapter 196, it was revealed to us that Lorne betrayed the elves and was inspired by the demon revealed to us. This demon we see in chapter 106 was once present centuries ago, as he stated he was the one who manipulated the humans into committing the genocide of the elf tribe and then planned for the elves to carry out their vengeance. To him, he found it all amusing. We also know this demon was absent after this event and was sent to hell centuries ago. This was insinuated as he was summoned from hell itself, and as the demon himself said, the body he obtained, even though it was incomplete, it was the first one he had in centuries. This demon could possibly be the demon king, the devil himself, and it is also possible that it could be the same demon god mentioned earlier who was brought into the giant form by Lisht and ultimately defeated by the first wizard king, or the demon god is just a complete different demon. But either way, this demon or devil Rone actually intended to give birth to the 5-leaf grimoire, possibly wanting it to be a medium to bring back one of his comrades and for it to obtain a body through the user of the grimoire. In the terms of magic and ability, this devil's power seems godlike, as he possesses reality altering word magic. Basically anything he says will happen. If this isn't calming magic, then I don't know what is. Now coming to the explanation of the devil's species or race, looking at it biblically, as this anime was most definitely inspired by Abrahamic teachings, the devil's race is actually inferred to be a fallen angel. However, this is disputed as there is the idea of angels being a race who do not have the nature to fall into sin at all, basically exempting them of any inherent negative characteristic and any potential of it. So another concept is that the devil is a fallen spirit or a complete unique race of its own. But going back to chapter 196, given Patoli's quick recognition of the demon, it gives us a clear indication that the elves have the knowledge of their existence, which would make sense if the elves once represented holy people. Possibly the elves' ancestors had a war with the demons and the 10 followers of Sephiroth at that time killed them and sent the demons to hell. Damn, that was pretty deep stuff. Now the next 2 races will be about spirits and dwarves in the Black Clover series. But remember, I'm only going to put that out if you lot really want it. So once again, smash that like button, get this video over 3,000 likes, and if I missed any other race or species, you know what to do, right? Those of you who are thinking, no anime balls, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I mean, leave a comment in the comment section below, let me know what I missed, and don't forget to subscribe and ding that notification bell to stay updated. Till then, I'll catch you guys till next time.